welcome to this amazing channel. So today let's talk about traveling, and I've received a lot of questions from most of you who love traveling, and the main question is they normally ask me, do you do like traveling for fun or for work? So to answer that, I do traveling for fun because number one, I love traveling and I can travel. Like, I think if I'm paid to travel, yes I can, but for now I travel for fun and I fund my travel, because I know that will be like the second question, like who funds your travel? So I fund my own travels, and I'm a bit intentional about that in terms of I save for my travels. If I intend to be traveling like every weekend, both locally and outside the country, so what I normally do is set aside some money like on daily basis. Most of you guys know I'm a full-time personal trainer. So as a full-time personal trainer, most of my clients pay me per session. So what I normally do is divide the money my clients pay me, because I also have other bills. I have kids in school, I have all that. So I normally divide my money into like the needs that I have. Yeah. So like if I intend to raise, like what I normally do is I normally decide my destination, like most of you should be doing. Like before any travel, you decide like where you want to, your destination. Research about your destination with an aim of getting to know how much you need for that destination, and don't be too exact because things happen, or we normally say shit happens. So you need to have like room for maneuvering. You need to have like extra cash. If you come back home with it, fine. If you don't come back with it, plow it back into, into that same travel. Like you can do detours if the money you have like was in excess. So like I was telling you, I normally divide the money. Like I know how much will go into my household, how much will go into school fees, how much will go into savings. I also save with Mhasibu for both short-term and long-term goals, because currently I'm a bit intentional on my saving habits. So yes, I travel for fun, and if I can get paid or I get money from traveling, why not? Okay, the second question was, how do you prepare for travels? Now, as I'm a self-employed, so I only have weekends to travel, and luckily if a holiday lands on a Friday or it lands on a Monday, I know I have more room for traveling. Like I have an extra day to ensure I travel. So apart from December, where I normally give myself like a month break from all works, and I can actually do long travel with that, like I did the 5 countries. I did that in December purposely because I had so much like time. I had like an entire month at my disposal. So as a self-employed, realize you have to give yourself off. Nobody will give yourself off, like time off. So that's what I do as a person. I set December aside for me, sometimes for family, but now this particular last December I decided I'm doing that for me in terms of now traveling and creating content. Other days I rely on weekends, I rely on public holidays, and mostly when they land on a Sunday, not on a Sunday, when they land on a Monday and when they land on a Friday. So I capitalize on the 3 days like in a row. So I like doing my travels at night, because now when you travel at night, you have daytime at your disposal to do so much. If you travel during the day, realize that is, to me as a content creator, that is like eyeballs wasted. Like that is like time you'd have shot content, because we rely on natural light for our videos. So like a recent travel I did this the last, like yesterday's video, I traveled to Arusha and Moshi. So I relied on the weekend for that, and purposely because I couldn't get a Friday off. I was a personal trainer, I had many clients on a Friday, so I couldn't travel that Friday. So what I did was, finish with my clients by evening. So the last client, I requested them to do like slightly earlier, so at least I can have room to maneuver. When I was researching about going to Arusha and going to Moshi, most of the buses I was getting were daytime travel. If you guys look for shuttles to Arusha and Moshi, realize they leave Nairobi around 8 a.m, arrive in Arusha around 2 p.m. So I didn't have that luxury of time whereby I could travel like on Friday during the day. If I decide to travel Saturday during the day, I'll only have one day, which is less than 24 hours, because I also have time to travel back to like Nairobi before Monday morning. So like now, that's why I had to travel by night, and the only option I had was to like connect my travels. So the first travel was, how do I get from Nairobi to Namanga? Because now most buses were not crossing the border most of them were not doing like night traveling, unless now you are going to from Malaba, yes, Busia, yes, because most buses leave here around 6 p.m. They cross the border around midnight or thereabout, so it's okay. But now for a place like Arusha, mostly it takes around 5 to 6 or 7 hours maximum to reach, so they mostly do daytime. So I had now to reach the border during the day, then cross the border. Once I have like my passport stamped and all due diligence done, I cross the border to the other side. Again, look for means of transport from Namanga border now to Arusha. Coincidentally, so what I did was, their buses, they are actually matatus from here, actually a place called near what's the place called in CBD, downtown, around downtown, OTC, down OTC. There's normally a petrol station around there, so in that petrol station you'll find matatus to Namanga, and matatus to Kajiado. So I had to do that connection. I took one matatu to Namanga, and they leave random time, so depending on what time you arrive at the bus stop, at the matatu stop, it also reflects on what time you'll arrive at the border. So for my case, I only had afternoon, like from after 4 p.m, whereby I could travel. So I went there, took a matatu that took me to, I think by around 8 p.m. Around 8 p.m. we arrived at the border, did clearance, and luckily, or as luck would have it, there was now another matatu clearing, not a matatu, a bus clearing from Nairobi, Kenya. I don't know what time they left. I think, I don't know, Mombasa or somewhere, crossing over all the way to Arusha. So I asked the conductor, who was also clearing, like doing stamping for the passengers. I was like, are you heading to Arusha? He's like, yes. Do you have space? He was like, yes. I'm like, deal done. So I accompanied them. They charged me not so much to Arusha. So from Arusha, I booked a hotel. So this trip, I didn't do like prior booking, and I don't like doing prior booking. I like to be fluid in terms of, I can decide where to sleep, I can decide where to go. So I don't like pre-planning like on where I'm going to sleep. So I booked, immediately I got a hotel. I did a video on that, and it was a nice one. Rested. Morning, now I started now creating my content. So number 2, when I am traveling, I normally like do a research on where I'm going. Like for this case, when I knew I'm going to Moshi and Arusha, I'm starting with Arusha first. I had an option of starting with Moshi first. The second option was to start with Arusha first. So starting with Arusha first was like, what can I do in Arusha? I've been there many times before, but now what different can I cover? What haven't I done for you guys? So I came up with like all the videos I haven't done, and yeah, Arusha was like on my bucket list. Like I knew I would get, I had so much actually, like I had to run around so much to get you content, like to utilize the day, because now I had Saturday to do all that. So I had to shoot like 6 to 7 videos on Saturday. Then the same evening I traveled to Moshi. Buses from Arusha to Moshi are so many, so it was easy for me. And because I wanted to cover so much the following morning in Moshi, now I had to sleep closer to where I'm shooting content the following morning. And that's why now I traveled from Arusha to Moshi, and I landed at a place called Bomangombe. The reason why I landed at Bomangombe was because I wanted to shoot videos around Kikuletwa and the Chemka hot springs, and the waterfalls and all that. So that's why I had to sleep near them. Then from there, on my bucket list was the coffee farm visit and the coffee farm tour. I wanted to make coffee naturally, and from the whole process, actually harvesting it. Of course, now we couldn't wait for it to dry, so we had to use other dried coffee for us to grind, for us to roast, for us to make the coffee and actually to consume that coffee. So I had to sleep at Bomangombe, which was very near my content creation destination. And after that, actually I had to finish all my shooting around 2 p.m. because I needed time to travel back to Nairobi through whatever means I could get. Now realize you can't, all the places I went to look for buses, the buses were leaving in the morning. They were no, we don't have an available bus until tomorrow morning. So I didn't have that luxury of time, because Monday morning I had scheduled for client. Realized most of my clients, I didn't tell them I've traveled, so everything was normal for them. My first client was to be 5 a.m. on Monday, so I knew I have by all means to sleep around to be in Nairobi. So from Moshi I couldn't get a direct bus, so what I did was I took a bus from Moshi to the border point, which is Tarakea. We have 2 border points, Tarakea and Holili. Both of them are close to Moshi. You pass through Rombo, the Rombo Mkuu, Moshi and all that. Moshi, Rombo Mkuu to Tarakea. That's one option. The other option was to go to Holili. Holili will take me to Taveta. That is if I'm traveling to Mombasa, or if I'm going to Voi and other environs, then I'll use the Holili one. But now because I want to come back to Nairobi, and coming back to Namanga is quite at a distance, so I was let me use the Tarakea Oloitoktok route, which was very, very close. Connected one mat from Moshi to Tarakea. Guess what? Got to the border. There are no buses coming to Nairobi from Tarakea border. I had now to take a motorbike from Tarakea to Oloitoktok town. So at least I can get buses from there or matatus from there to Nairobi. That was around 15 kilometers on a motorbike, 15 kilometers. So took a motorbike, 15 kilometers, Oloitoktok, reached there. The last bus has already left. So I was like, what do I do? There is no any other bus leaving that evening. So I had now to connect from there to Kimana. From Oloitoktok, got another smaller car to Kimana. Kimana is in between, if you guys have traveled on Oloitoktok road, Kimana is along the way, somewhere along the way. So I got another small car to Kimana. From Kimana, again, there are no buses whatsoever going to Nairobi. My problems are increasing by the minute. So again, I had to connect another car from Kimana all the way to Emali. Now, why Emali was a suitable destination was because Emali is a town in between the routes from Mombasa to Nairobi. So definitely there are so many vehicles plying that route. So I knew definitely I would get means of transport from Emali to Nairobi. That's why I was so settled with me getting to Emali first. So you can imagine now the connections from Moshi to Tarakea, from Tarakea border to Oloitoktok, from Oloitoktok small car to Kimana. From Kimana now I got a matatu coming to Emali. So reaching Emali, Now there are so many matatus, there are so many those cars coming from the port that actually could take me from there to Nairobi, which I got one almost immediately, although it was actually taking time, or like, you know, going to pick like passengers along the way, but I knew I would reach Nairobi. Now luckily that matatu was actually going to its final destination. After reaching like getting the passengers to Nairobi, it would then travel to Thika town, and since I used Thika road to my house, I knew I'm covered. Of course, I had to add something small, so at least now I can be dropped near home. Then from the bus stop, now I had to take another small border, it was at night, to home. So I arrived home around, after there's so many connections, arrived home at around 2 a.m. Guys, I only had to sleep 2 hours so that I can wake up, get ready, and go for my client. And the client should not know that actually I have not slept. I don't think anyone knew. So yeah, that's how I planned my trip, this recent trip, and I'm back to work as normal. Again, looking forward to other destinations, and we create content so that we can like encourage you guys. Actually, you can travel even if you are employed 5 to like 8 to 5. If you have an 8 to 5 job, you can actually travel and enjoy. And yeah, so on my bucket list next is either to do Ethiopia. I'm targeting the Omo Valley. I've done my research. It requires between 4 to 5 days. So again, that one will depend on where the holiday lands. If a public holiday lands on a Friday and another one on a Monday, like Easter normally happens, I am safe. So I can take off Thursday night. I know I can come back Monday night and I'm back to my usual work. Yeah, the hassles of being self-employed, so you really have to plan yourself. I don't work, I don't make money. The more I work, the more I make money. Yep. And luckily my kids are in boarding school, so I'm able to maneuver and I'm able to enjoy life. So I get inspiration from people who travel a lot, and I follow a lot of travelers as well, because they become pace setters for me in terms of, okay, how do I get from point A to point B? If I want to get to Ethiopia, how do I get there? So I'll rely on people who have gone there before to like give me information, like how do I get from here to Moyale? What are the options I have at Moyale? Like now, me making this video will advise someone like how you can get to Nairobi even if there is no direct bus from Moshi to Nairobi at that particular time, and you have to arrive, you have to come back to Nairobi like the same day. So you can use a longer route and connect. Going to Arusha wasn't that expensive. Actually, it's cheaper me doing the connections. But coming back now using the Tarakea was quite expensive because of the different means of transport I used to get to Nairobi. Yeah, so let's travel. Now most of you are also inquiring about how do I go along with you, and I'm coming up with an itinerary. I'm also coming up with like a travel guide, so at least any travels I'm making, we can be going with you guys. Plus I'm also planning to join other travelers as well. So I'm in talk with other great travelers, people I look up to. So at least we can make these travels together, and it can be quite cheaper to go as a group. And locally, when I do local trips, I normally rely on like traveling as a group because it becomes cheaper. If you travel alone, of course, all the cost is on you. But if you're traveling as a group, you can actually cost share the transport, like in terms of fuel, if you have to raise fuel. And even when you're negotiating like for accommodation, it becomes cheaper because now you are more than one person. Yeah, so yeah, you can pull people together, people like who love traveling. Although sometimes it's rare, because now if I want to go to Ethiopia, the people I'm meeting have already done Ethiopia, or if they've done Mozambique or any other country that I intend to do, it becomes quite tricky for them to join me in my trip, because most people don't want to repeat the same trip again. Yeah, so but if you get people of like-mindedness, people who want to travel, like who are intending to travel the same destination as you, pull the resources together and it will be cheaper. So hit me up on my DM, on my Instagram. My number is on the description box of this video. Reach me up and let us know where else we can travel with you together, right? Let's enjoy the travels.